First item of business will be to select a chairman pro tem in the absence of our
We
chairman.
gotta do
We have to
roll.
do attendance first.
Yeah.
Roll call first?
Yes.
Okay. Call roll call.
Okay, Chairman Dash is absent by prior notice. Commissioner Kempa.
Here.
Commissioner DeGraff.
Here.
Commissioner Tamman.
Here.
Commissioner Patel.
Here.
Commissioner Mellon is absent by prior notice, and Commissioner Sayward. Here.
Okay, so we have a quorum present. The first item of business will to appoint a chairman pro tem.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Tamman to be a chair pro temp tonight.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item of business is the approval of our September 27th meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any old business? None? Okay, new business, we have two hearings this evening. The first one is PZBA, public hearing case number ZBA 18-14 SU. Applicant is George Sellis, address 1 East Camp McDonald Road in Prospect Heights, Illinois. The description of the request is requesting a special use permit for a 3,600 square foot sit-down restaurant in B1 Retail Business District per section 5.7.2C of the City of Prospect Heights zoning code. Next thing I would like to do is introduce the exhibits, items 1 through 10 into the record. And then also exhibit number 11 is the proof of mailing notification, which the applicant will provide tomorrow morning. Okay. With that, I'll ask Assistant Director to present his comments regarding this case.
This is for a special use permit is required for a sit-down restaurant in a B1 retail business district. The applicant, George Sellis, is proposing a build-out of an existing 3,600 square foot vacant tenant space at 1 East Camp McDonald Road. The parking classification per code is class number 16, and based upon the definition to determine off-street parking, the gross area applicable is 3,600 feet and would require 36 parking spaces. The current parking lot is legal, non-conforming, and does not currently meet the required parking standards. A full building permit will be issued upon successful completion of the special use permit process. The City Council will hear and consider an anticipated beer and wine license application. Any request for video gaming will be processed to the Illinois Gaming Board. Our conclusion for the staff is that the proposal meets both the general requirements and standards for a special use permit for a sit-down restaurant. The applicant shall submit a complete kitchen equipment plan and floor plan to determine occupancy of the facility. The City Council will consider all applications for liquor license. The State of Illinois will determine if video gaming shall be permitted.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant here? Okay. Is there anyone else that's going to testify?
Use my chef just in case if there's any other question.
Okay, I'll swear you both in. You swear and affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. If you can state your name and address.
George Peter Sellis, 4007 Miller Drive, Glenview, Illinois, 60026.
Okay, very good. Can you explain to the board, to the commissioners, what you're proposing?
Sure, we're looking to open up, it's going to be called Susie's Cafe. What it's going to be is going to be a gourmet coffee, soup, and pizza parlor with all-you-can-eat soups, all-you-can-eat pizza. During the day, we're going to have gourmet coffee with Danish muffins and breakfast foods. We're also looking to put in a higher-end conference room for off-site conferences from companies that would come in and have lunch and have a private conference room for them to meet in. Also, because the space is a little bit bigger than we wanted, we're also looking to put in a kids' pizza, like a kids' little party room, so we could have weekend parties, pizza parties for families and kids and so forth like that.
Okay, thank you very much. Do any of the commissioners have any questions regarding this application?
Well, a couple questions. On your floor plan, you have listed a game room. I'm not sure where you're talking about the corporate events.
We're gonna have, if you look at the plan on one side, it's actually gonna be split in half. So let's say the west side of the building, we would have a kids' party room there with a few, like, kids games, like a crane machine, something that we would put, that would be more generated towards children, like a couple games, like Chuck E. Cheese kind of games. On the other side, we're gonna put the corporate meeting room that would be for adults. And there, if we did, we would put some video gaming on that side. So it'd be completely separate on opposite ends of the restaurant, and also be separate entrances, so the children will be geared more towards one way, adults more towards the other way. So the entrance for the conference room would be on the east side of the restaurant, where the children will be on the west side.
So does the game room and the conference room double as each other with the plan?
No, well, the game room and the conference room, they'll be separated, of course. Be two different rooms with two different entrances.
We just don't see it on the floor plan, that's why. I think that's what your question is, right? And I don't see it either.
Okay. Yeah, there would be, the back area would be divided in half. So, for example, the east side would be for the children, which will be an entrance on the east side of the restaurant, where the west side would be for the adults. So basically, they couldn't go from the kids' room to the adult side without coming through the front and going all the way around.
One thing I forgot, I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So move.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you.
I have a question as far as if you're going to make two separate areas like that, as far as are we going to have an additional set of bathrooms? So
There are washrooms towards the back that are handicap accessible at the moment.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying, are we going to mix the children with the adults?
Yes, there'll be both access, but the adults would actually have to come out and go around to the children's area. There will not be access from both sides. So this way it could avoid children going into the adult game area or the conference room.
I would kind of like to see that on a floor plan, which we really don't see that right now.
Okay. I can make another one a little bit more specific. You know, the problem there was that we were looking more for a cash and carry business, and due that the parcel's so big and there's no way to divide it, that's why we came up with the back area with some game rooms and so on. It's a lot more, it's 2,000 square feet more than we really need. So what I can do is get more specific on the back area and the accesses to make it a little bit more easier for you, for everyone to see it, actually.
I think what you're asking is public access to the washrooms?
No, I'm kind of, as far as we're dividing the space into a kid's room or kids area and an adult area, but yet our floor plan does not state that as was submitted.
Okay.
And my concern is, I don't want to continue this, but I think we may have to, because how can we approve or disapprove of something that we really don't know exactly what's going on?
Okay.
Which is understandable, because the rooms were added afterwards, when we were talking about, because we saw so much extra space, and there is a problem, we look at parking sometimes, but the parties would be more towards the weekends. So we came up with that plan, but basically on a second review, that when we looked over the parcel. So you're right, that's not in the plan, and we could easily make another plan for the next meeting that would identify the entrances to the washrooms and to the rooms, and the proper seating in each room.
Okay. Are there any other comments? Is there any?
I have a question regarding the parking and the circulation. I think at times it can be a pretty congested area. I know that Deli for You has quite a few people at different peak times. Have they expressed any problems? Have they talked to you about your hours of operation versus their peak times?
Not with us, but we have spoke with the landlord, and he is going to designate the first 4 parking spots, especially for morning coffees, for just for the business itself. Because there'll be a lot of, we're really basing on cash and carry, so people come in grabbing food to go, pizza to go, even though there'll be all you can eat inside, probably be geared more towards the weekends. But as of right now, we haven't had any conversation with Deli for You. We have approached them, told them what we were doing with Mr. Paul, and there hasn't been any, they have not called us or addressed us in any way.
So, but you also mentioned that you were going to look toward getting a video gaming permit through the state.
Yes.
So if that's part of it, that would be something I would think it's not cash and carry, where somebody would go there and maybe stay for a
Well, no,
longer period of time.
We're hoping for people to stay inside the restaurant, of course. That's why we have the conference room. Conference room can hold anywhere from 12 to 15 people. As far as parking, deli for you, I've noticed it's mostly after 4 in the afternoon, 3:34, Wednesday through Saturday, that the lot is really congested, that we've noticed. And usually it opens up around 7:30 p.m. from what we've noticed. Now, at any given time, the deli for you is a very popular deli. It could be, you never know when they're going to be busy. Nor do we know in our business, because at lunchtime, we should be geared for a good lunch. And usually at lunch, are not as busy as they are in the later afternoon.
And I just, but, I understand that there was a use there before, and it was existing non-conforming for the parking. But the use that we're putting in now is almost double the number of parking spaces that would have been required when it was a furniture store, a gift store. So, and maybe this is a question for Dwayne, if there's, so my concern is that I think the use is great. I think a sit-down restaurant would be perfect in that area. I just wouldn't want it to be successful at the expense of the other existing tenants losing the parking that they would need.
Of course, of course.
So, and maybe Dwayne could speak to the fact if there's any other parking or circulation plans on the table for future development, or if there's any kind of,
Not that I'm aware of. Any space, any business that would go in there would still be approved non-conforming. When the building was built, it was approved non-conforming, so it's going to continue that way.
Yeah, this building was built under county codes before the city was incorporated,
Right.
and
I mean, they added
Parking is
the
an issue.
public parking lot there, which helped, and it still does help. And that should help with the deli for you if they use those spaces closest to the deli for you.
I don't think I've ever seen that lot filled up. I don't know, I mean, deli food, it says 76 spots, it doesn't need 76 spots.
That's closer to deli for you, but everybody parks in the middle. But they could park on the other lot, which is not any farther than anybody else has to walk.
Yeah.
Is parking space requirement based purely on square footage, or is it based on occupancy?
Square footage.
Square footage,
Yeah.
okay.
okay, any other questions? It sounds like we need, from the commissioner's comments, we need a revised floor plan. So would you like to request a continuance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
Request a continuance till the November meeting to provide us a new floor plan for our review.
Not a problem.
Okay. Is there a motion on the?
I'd like to make that motion for continuance.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of granting continuance?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, the next case is PZBA, public hearing case number ZBA 18-15B. Applicant is Tomaza Waldrisky. Address 505 West Willow Road, Prospect Heights, Illinois. And the description of the request is requesting a variance to the City of Prospect Heights zoning code title 5-6-1 F1, height of a single-family residence to allow the construction of a new single-family residence, 38 feet 3 inches in height, which is 8 foot 3 inches higher than the allowed 30-foot high by the zoning code. I'd like to, at this time, I'd like to enter into the record the exhibits various exhibits. A, B, C, D, E, F. Is that correct? Or exhibits 1
It'll be exhibits 1 through 7.
through 7. Thank you very much. Is the applicant here this evening? Do you have your proof of mailing?
We delivered the proof to the office secretary,
Okay,
all
secretary.
the copies.
Okay.
I will. We have the white receipts when you first sent them out. Did you get any green cards returned to you in the mail?
I brought the copy, I brought the copies, all the copies. It was like the 25 addresses.
Okay. You brought the green cards to Dan.
Actually, to you.
No, I have the white receipts. What about?
So that's the only documents, proving that we sent it.
Okay, well, when, you will get green cards returned to you in the mail. So when you get those, I'll need you to bring them into the office so we can put them in the file.
This is the only.
Okay?
So what you have is satisfactory? Proof of
We
mailing?
do have proof that they sent everything out because we have the receipts showing that the mailing did go out.
Okay, so we will enter the proof of mailing as Exhibit 8, correct?
Partial.
It's actually, we do have the proof of mailing. It did go out because we have the receipts from the post office.
Okay,
The second part of it is the green cards.
okay,
When the person, the subject receives their card, the mail person tears it off after it's been signed and returns it to our applicants.
okay,
So they may not have gotten them back. Many times they do come after the hearing
okay.
because of the way the mail
So
system
we've
works.
satisfied the requirement.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. First thing is some comments from the Assistant Director regarding this case.
The owner has applied for a variation to section 5-6-1F1, height to allow a maximum height of 38.3 inches, in excess of the allowable 30 feet. The applicant is proposing a new single-family home on the vacant 50,250 square foot lot. The owner will remove the existing gravel driveway and install a new drive to meet the required 5-foot setback required by the building zoning code. That's basically all.
Okay. Next thing, I need a motion to open the public hearing regarding this case.
Also move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Are you, both of you gentlemen, going to testify this evening? Okay, do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, if you'll state your name and address.
Tomasz Wadowski, 504 Waikiki Drive, Des Plaines, Illinois.
Okay, and if you could just tell the board what you're requesting here in your application?
I want to build a new house on the lot on 505 Willow Road.
Maybe I carry this on.
And could you state your name and address
Yeah,
too, sir?
I'm Jacobs Attorney. I was hired as the design architect for this project,
Okay,
and I'm helping this family to design and fortunately build the house.
Could you please spell your last name for the record?
Z-A-T-W-A-R-N-I-C-K-I.
Thank you.
J-A-K-U-B.
Thank you.
okay. Do you have some comments, sir?
Yes, so just to give like an explanation to this situation, so we were requested by the Wadowski family to design a house, single family, for his family actually. And so they asked us to provide like bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, master bedrooms. They have 1 kid, but they are planning to have more. They purchased pretty large lot, and they were expecting, to get a relatively large house. So we were going through some kind of, request of program requests and design, preferences, and we were trying to adjust all of this decision to the lot. There's like 3 large setbacks on the sides, and the lot is relatively very deep. So house design is rather, deeper than normally, but to the sun orientation, that's probably the most accurate, and successful decisions for design. Now they also ask to have all of this bedrooms for kids on the same second level that generated height of the building in a range of 26 feet at least. And now they had some, you know, aesthetic preferences. So just, you know, trying to put all this together, we have a pretty tall roof. We learned that actual limit in the Prospect Heights is 34 feet. So we're seeking for approximately 10, maybe 12%, which is 4 feet higher than allowed.
Actually, it's not 34 feet, it's 30 feet, but it's actually the percentage of the mean height, which brings it, on that particular project, each one will be a little different. On your particular project, it would be 34 feet would be allowed. So you're basically, it'll be a 4-foot variance from what the code allows to do.
Yes.
Okay.
So just following this, I think that having aesthetic, we produced the three-dimensional design and superimpose on the lot. Looking at this, you know, holistically, this is pretty big lot, and we don't. We'd rather keep the height as was designed, because lowering this height by 4 feet will dramatically change the pitch and altogether design of the house. There's the you know, towers on the sides, and the front is similar you know, slope, so it will really be the outcome will not really follow, you know, aesthetic.
Okay, any other comments? Commissioners?
We'll open to the public
We need to
first.
open it up to the public first.
Is there anyone from the public that wishes to comment on this application? Do you swear to tell the truth and whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, if you'll just state your name and address for the record?
James Workman, 306 Dale Avenue, Prospect Heights.
Okay.
Could you spell your last name for the record, please?
Workman. Just one comment is, it would be nice if people could see the elevations of this for the discussion, what we're talking about, the house, the height of the size of the house, the height of the roof and so on. We're just speaking in generalities. It would be nice to have it on display and so on so people could see. I came in the other week and saw the plans and so on, and just finding out that I thought it was 30 feet was the limit, and then this was going up to 38, so 8 feet more. But then just hearing, well, because of the sizing and so on, the percentages of and so on, it's actually 34, so they're going 4 feet high. Okay. I'm just thinking it's a really big house. And I understand, yes, it's a big lot and so on, but it's a really big house. Does it fit into the neighborhood? That's my immediate thought and so on. And to have this very high roof and so on, to limit it to what the rules are, the statutes are and so on, would make sense to me. You have a set of rules, standards and so on. This is what you're supposed to do if you're going to build a house in Prospect Heights. So when you go to design a house, here are your limitations. What do? How do you fit it into that box? And so that's my only problem really is that it would be nice to, well, here are your sizings, fit it into that area. And obviously, well, we want to go bigger. We want to go higher. And I think that's one of the reasons why you have the rules, to keep a throttle or rein on sizing and so on. That's my thoughts or my observations.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Anyone else in the audience who wishes to comment? Okay, now we'll go to the commissioners.
You close the public hearing, please,
I'd like to open up the, or close the
Okay, is there-
public,
Okay, motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we'll open it up to the commissioners.
You guys can say it, no, you know.
I'll make that motion to open it up to the commissioners.
Okay. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
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 We should ask, I wanted to ask a couple questions, and then we
Okay.
can ask them.
Come back up, please.
I'm sorry, I asked him to sit down. Is there a, what was the main, and I like the design of the house itself, but what's the reason to get to 38 feet? Is there a reason you can't stay at 34? Have you tried?
You know, the problem is that this is, since, you know, the lot has the side setbacks, plus we were trying on the right side, there is existing driveway, which we have to move away. The house needed to be,
You need to stand closer to the microphone.
sorry.
Thank you.
So, what I wanted to say, it's, for the reason of the side setbacks and existing driveway on the west side, we had to kind of narrow the house and make it deeper. And this configuration of building, you know, push us up with the slope.
Yeah, and this is my experience as a builder and design. I think you can keep your slopes and still hit the 34 feet. I don't see why your ridge of the roof needs to stay at 38. And Scott might know a little too, but.
Yeah, I'm also a builder, and I've done several properties in Prospect Heights. In fact, one of the properties that far exceeded this in height, and I actually flattened the roof out. As commissioners, we have to look at, is there a hardship? I don't see a hardship here. So we can only vote on things that would be a hardship. We can't actually change the ordinance. So my feeling is that I can't vote in favor of this because there is an ordinance that says that we have to be 34 feet on this house, so.
And if you're asking for a foot, but get to 38, that'd probably be the tallest house in Prospect Heights. And I have a pretty big house in Prospect Heights, and I stayed under 35, you know what I'm saying? And I honestly, looking at your elevations, I haven't seen your architectural plans, we don't have them. I think you can maintain your slope and still hit the 34 feet. You just gotta, it doesn't need to go as pitched high as it is. You're not meeting any other roof lines to make that work. If you were meeting roof lines from other parts of your house and made to get to 38, that might be a potential hardship, but all your roof lines are below 34, and this particular one, for some reason, is going at 38. I don't see the hardship for it either.
You see, to be honest, I have to also tell that this 34, we found as of yesterday,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Because we're told that this, you know, the limit is actually 30. And 30 wouldn't work here at all, because we'll have to completely flatten it.
Yeah, 30 I could see being an issue. I mean, that's, when I built my house, I had the same concerns. 30 is a tough number.
But with the averaging we have, going to
34.
34
Yeah.
by code.
Yeah, so if we can get, if you can stay under 34, which I think from my experience you can, and it doesn't change the roof slopes, it'll still make the house very comparable to what you're doing now. You probably wouldn't notice a difference, to be honest with you. It'd make it fall, it conform, and you wouldn't need the variance to do this.
Could I ask to have Daryl actually explain? I mean, I know it gets complicated, but as far as for the layman's term, if you take the fascia.
It's the mean average from the fascia to the ridge. And after we calculated it out, that's where we came up with the 34. Every house is going to be different. I mean,
Right.
it's gonna be different.
Correct.
And yes, it brings the ridge down, makes a longer ridge, but it's still a good pitched roof. So, and that's where it came at 34 instead of being 38. So
Right.
technically, you're only asking for, like I said,
Yeah, honestly,
4-foot
it's
variance,
changed the
but-
picture a lot, that's
but it
true.
doesn't change the appearance of the house that much. I actually drew it out. It didn't change the appearance of the house that much. So, I mean, look versus 30, 38
Yeah,
versus 34.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't change the appearance of the house. On the side elevation, a little bit more. There's a side elevation there too. The side elevation changed a little bit, but the front doesn't change a lot.
Yeah, kind of seeing, that's what exactly what I'm envisioning. See the 34? There's not a big difference between this and this. And here you're conforming where we wouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean,
I think. what
again,
you
we
guys-
learned it that 34, you know,
Yesterday, I think with that
yesterday, so,
information, you
so we can
probably,
refine it a little bit, obviously.
you probably don't even need to come back.
But 30 it wouldn't be possible whatsoever here.
That sounds great.
I think we're all agreed, well.
Well,
we're
I think
in
we
agreement
need to
that
take,
38 I think they're understanding that 38, they're asked for 38 because they thought 30 was the limit, but now they're knowing 34 is, they can make it work with 34.
And you don't need a variance for that.
And you don't need a
Just
variance.
submit the information.
Even if we say no to you today, you still don't need to come back to us, which is. good
Yes.
for you.
Thank you much.
What we're doing is trying to comply with what the direction we've gotten from the community in terms of our comprehensive plan, where people are trying to keep the characteristics of existing neighborhoods. So I think that this is going to be larger than some of the homes in the area, and for us to be even to consider that, it would have to have a hardship, and having a large lot isn't a hardship. Most people would consider it an amenity. Most people in Prospect Heights are used to larger lots. It's part of the characteristics of the neighborhood. So the fact that you're trying to say it's a hardship really isn't a good reason for us to consider a variation.
I understand.
Okay, are there any other comments from the commissioners?
So essentially, when we bring it down to 34 and the owners will be approving design, we can just submit
Submit the
revised,
Yes,
revised heights
Yeah,
it just,
and we can just go with it.
right.
exactly.
Okay.
You'll
That's
make
good.
you'll make
Thank
the
you very
process
much.
quicker too, you get the permits quicker.
The whole process.
Okay, I think,
I would like to make a motion to close
The public hearing.
public hearing and let the commissioners actually vote on.
okay, I think then we need
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now that we need a,
Well,
So are we voting on the variance for the height, or do we want to, or does the applicant actually want to just withdraw his application?
Oh, that's a good one, yeah. Your best option probably would be to withdraw.
Withdraw, yes.
Yeah,
This
and then
one,
there is no vote, and then you,
to the owners new design.
Right.
If they go with this,
Yeah.
we just
Right.
have to just,
exactly.
yeah,
bring
yeah,
a new design and that will be okay.
that's
So,
much better, right?
right?
okay, so is the owner going to wish to withdraw?
Yes.
Okay, then this case is closed. Next item of business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is communications, next meeting. We'll have a next meeting. Any other cases coming up, Darrell?
We would like to make an announcement that the next meeting will be the third Thursday of the month, November 15th, due to the Thanksgiving holiday being the fourth Thursday of the month.
Okay. Darrell, do we have any other cases pending?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
thank you.
We are going to have a meeting in November. There are 2 cases that are going to be coming forward.
Okay,
I'm not going to say anything else about those cases at this time,
but there are,
but there are 2 cases
Okay.
coming
Oh, now
forward.
you got us intrigued, Jen.
okay. Are there any comments from the commissioners?
I'd like to make a motion
Entertain a
to close.
motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion to
I'll
adjourn.
second.
I gotta get to dinner.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.